Okay, now we will discuss grants. Okay, other than the demand for grants which they are passed during budget session in parliament, right? So supplementary grant. What is that supplementary grant? Okay, so whenever the minister is demand for a specific amount or demand for grant and that is not sufficient or it is insufficient for that financial year, at that time the supplementary grant can be granted. If a minister asks 10,000 crore rupees, okay, only 8,000 crore rupees approved, but shortage of 1,000 crore rupees, then again 1,000 crore rupees grant will be granted. Through which grant? Supplementary grant. Okay, additional grant. Any service which is not mentioned during the budget. Any services which is not mentioned in the budget. Okay, additional service only, right? To meet the expenditure of that service, they require a grant. So that grant is nothing but additional grant. Certain things are there which minister thought that it can be sufficient and all those things, but suddenly one additional service added, so expenditure will increase. To meet that expenditure, the house will give this additional grant to the minister. Okay, here amount is insufficient. Here new service added, unexpectedly service added which is not mentioned in the budget. Okay, so this is the difference. Then excess grant. Okay, so what is that excess grant? For example, a sports minister asked 10,000 crore rupees in a financial year. Okay, but he incurred more than 10,000 crore rupees. He incurred more than 10,000 crore, right? So whatever the amount granted for him, okay, in that financial year, but expenditure is excess of that grant, then at that time excess grant will be granted. But remember, always remember one thing, this excess grant is there, right? It will be granted only after the recommendation of Public Accounts Committee, PAC. If PAC give recommendation, then only this grant will be granted by the Lok Sabha after financial year. Financial year end. This budget is there, na? Minister ask that for the particular service 10,000 crore rupees estimate expenditure is there, right, from 1st April to 31st March of next year. But expenditure is increased, more excess, right? So after the next year 31st financial year, this grant will be granted by Lok Sabha on the recommendation of PAC, Public Accounts Committee. Now vote of credit, it's like a blank check. Vote of credit, it's like what? It's like a blank check for the executives. Now why it is called a blank check for the executive? Why? Because this grant will be granted to the executive for urgent, unexpected or indefinite expenditure. Natural calamities, Corona 2020, you might be remember, that is unexpected only, right? And undefined expenditure also. They cannot define, no? Estimate, we cannot estimate also. Okay, so for such type of, to overcome such type of situation, right, this grant will be granted. That is vote of credit. That is the reason why it is called what? Blank check. Why? Because they also doesn't know how much expenditure is required. Got it? The next, exceptional grant. It is granted for special purpose. Exceptional grant, it is granted for the special purpose and in special cases. Token grant. So what is that token grant? Now take an example. Sports minister only, for the development of the cricket stadium, he asked for 2,000 crore rupees. He asked for what? 2,000 crore rupees, right, in a financial year. Sports minister only, I am telling, for development of cricket stadium, 2,000 crore rupees is asked. But under that 2,000 crore rupees, he made an expenditure of only 1,000 crore rupees. Only 1,000 crore. So 1,000 is excess, right? So that 1,000 excess amount he can incur to the other what you call services, like construction and development of the football stadium. Possibility, you are understanding? So here excess amount is there, that amount is reappropriated for the other services, right? So that comes under the token grant. For example, any new services which are not mentioned in the budget, any new services which is not mentioned in the budget, okay, in other services, the service which is mentioned in the budget, their amount is still there, so that amount can be transferred to this new services. Okay, you are understanding? Here separate grant will not be given, separate money. Here just giving a permission that wherever excess is there, from there you reappropriate to the another new services which is not mentioned in the budget. It does not authorize a new expenditure. Whatever the exist expenditure is there, that only has to divert from one service to the another new service. You are understanding? So that is token grant. So this is about grants.